to the unpredictability surrounding U.S. trade policy. I just read something this morning, Majid, that said that basically what Trump is trying to do with all this uncertainty, with enacting the tariffs and pausing the tariffs, is that he's actually trying to distribute wealth fairly across the U.S. And in a world where I know Trump, it almost sounds too utopic to be true.
Yeah, it's just him being him. Yeah, it's the main idea is the most interesting things throughout these last days. Everyone was coming and asking about markets, what's happening, what's the real estate market going to react as, automotive industry, what will happen to this industry. Everyone had questions about their industries or anywhere, whichever industry they're linked to, they had questions about it. Recession was the biggest topic. Everyone was thinking that we are into recession mode now. But this puts a pause on those talks. The good thing that I see, the interesting thing that I see is that he told everyone to go and buy the stocks. And we were just talking to one of our colleagues in the office, and she said that she was at a restaurant and she was just randomly going through her investments, and she said that I looked at average my Apple, she's bought Apple stocks, so she's like, I was just looking at Apple stocks and they were up, and I was like, okay, I'll buy it. And as soon as she bought some of it, randomly after like 10-15 minutes this news came and the market went up. So a lot of people were in for a good surprise. A lot of people were actually I was talking to our owner today in the morning as well, and he also made a very interesting point that usually when this thing happens, where like the markets are so bad, the prices are so low, usually you buy at that time and then the markets go up and you make a lot of money. He said that usually he used to feel FOMO, that, oh, I missed this. But now people who have been long-time investors have realized that with Trump, you can't bet on anything. What if today he comes and he says something else and the markets again tank? So it's become unpredictable, and unpredictability, volatility is the most evil thing for markets, for economy. You need to be certain, you need to have fixed policies that we will do this and this will happen eventually in 1 year, 2 year, 5 years time, 10 years time. So you plan like that. You don't plan like Trump. Like every day there's something new. I remember 2 days ago he was with Netanyahu. He was visiting US to negotiate over tariffs. And a reporter clearly asked him are you rethinking your tariff move? He was like, no, absolutely not. And 2 days later, he's like, let's pause it.
I just, Majid, there's some part of me that would really like to believe that in the grand scheme of things that this is not just messy behavior, and that this is all coordinated messy behavior, and that something will come out of this.
And the funny thing is that all the hedge fund billionaires, all the rich guys of America, they put so much pressure on him in the last week. Like, what are you trying to do? Please, this is the worst thing that you can do for the economy. But him coming back, putting a pause, 90-day pause. I think he loves 90-day pauses. He put a 90-day pause on the buying of TikTok as well. And we still now are in doldrums. Who will buy TikTok? What will happen to him? A lot of people came forward at that time. Mr. Beast was one of them. Kevin O'Leary, he's an Emirati citizen, a big judge on Shark Tank, a very common face in our investment circle in the Middle East. He was ready to buy it with a conglomerate. Amazon came in.
TikTok is not going to be sold. It's not going to be sold to any of these people.
Yeah.
I don't believe it will be.
No, see, China, that's the problem. His tariff fight with China now will make it more difficult. So most probably the 90-day period, as soon as it ends, it will become a problem again. It will resurface. So my idea, if you look at the TikTok example, exactly same. It was such a huge cry. TikTok went black for 12, 13 hours, and then randomly he came in and he was like, no, I'm going to save the day, 90-day pause, decide a buyer, and 50-50. With the stocks, this thing, it's the same thing. So it's Trump's policy of putting pressure on people and then seeing where they break. And
Majid,
people broke.
What's something that I really don't like is that we don't actually know how these tariffs affected Arab billionaires. Because, we saw it with Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett, the only winner in all of this. But we're not actually seeing if the Arab billionaires have actually incurred any losses.
If you have paid access to Bloomberg, there's this very interesting thing on Bloomberg, which is called the Billionaire Index. So they list down the top 500 billionaires,
Yeah.
and they show you a live number of their like market value, their whole asset value going up and down. So if you get access, if you have access, just go and look at it.
Do you have access?
No. Funnily, you can only read 2 free articles on Bloomberg if you're not subscribed. But I remember I had access to it like some time ago. And I saw that whenever these things happen, the most affected are the tech billionaires. Because if you look at the market share of them, in last night when I was doing the story, I was looking at a few of the graphs that are freely available on Yahoo News and all the financial apps and Bloomberg as well. So you look at the graphs, 33% of American stock market and all these markets, they're tech stocks. So it's Amazon, Apple, XAI, Teslas. These are like the big Meta. All these make up nearly 33% of the market. So if they're making 33% of the market, obviously when the market tanks, they'll be the biggest losers. They lost nearly $1 trillion in their combined wealth over this last whole period since April 2. So $1 trillion nearly were wiped out from these billionaires' account. Then you look at the UAE billionaire. I think there's like 5 or 6 Saudi people, and there's only 2 UAE people on that list. I completely forgot the names, but they were in green. So there's on that billionaire index, it's very interesting. It's like daily change. So you see like they'll added 11 million to their money today, and then there's year to day YTD, year to date change. So in the last year and from that day onwards, how much did they gain? They were in green.
So
they
basically,
didn't lose
Majid,
any money.
you would say that it's very smart to have your wealth distributed fairly across different industries, not just in this
Yeah.
region, not just in the Middle
Okay.
East. The
Industry-wide,
quiet
yes.
pointing. No, but I mean like across different industries. And I feel like a very prime example of this is Prince Al-Walid bin Talal. I mean, his investments are so
Everywhere.
far-reaching. It's not just, in real estate. Just recently, we saw how, he increased the budget for the Jeddah Tower, which is meant to be the tallest tower in the world, taller than Burj Khalifa. So we'll see what's going to happen in a couple of years.
1
But
kilometer.
He's also, Prince Al-Walid bin Talal is, he's actually the second largest stakeholder, I believe, in X and
Yeah.
XAI. So you can see a trend here. It's not just in real estate. It's not just in tech. It's in absolutely everything. And I think that's what makes Middle Eastern investors smart. It's the fact that they don't put their eggs in one basket. And I remember I was watching this video actually. Yes, it was Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, and he was basically saying to Carl Tucker. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been saying
No.
Tucker Carlson, but he was basically telling Carl Tuckerson that I don't believe in crypto.
Yeah.
I remember this. And then he also started talking about JP Morgan, and he was like, he doesn't believe in crypto either. So I think
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson. Oh, Tucker Carlson. Sorry, guys. Anyways, so basically, he was telling Tucker Carlson that. He was like, JP Morgan also agrees with me.
Yeah.
And I just think that's very interesting because it's almost this fact of that it makes me think that he needs assets that he can actually feel are real.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
To make it more clear, there was an event in November. I think it was FII or some economic forum where the CEO of the company kingdom, KHC, he went and he said that we don't believe in crypto. Mr. Al-Walid bin Talal doesn't believe in crypto because his idea is that any asset that you have, building, if you can sell it and buy something, then that's an asset. He's like, I can't buy anything with crypto right now. So that's his idea. So you're pretty correct in this that he wants assets which he can sell and take money and buy. Crypto right now, it's becoming mainstream. It's very mainstream in UAE. Saudi still doesn't have an exchange. It's not allowed in Saudi to trade crypto. So from Saudi perspective, it makes sense. From global perspective as well, I think even with now the crypto I have, I can't just go to some random shop like a bakala and buy milk with it,
Majid,
right?
you know what you
So
said
his
is,
idea is somewhat correct.
What you said is so interesting is because I remember Robert Kiyosaki was saying when he was here for the Mega Campus Summit, he was saying that there will come a point in the future where Saudi Arabia will have its own cryptocurrency. And I just remember like a silence descended over the crowd, because what he said does entail a sense of truth.
Yeah.
We will see it coming, but for now, what we're seeing coming in Saudi Arabia is Tesla.
Yeah.
It's officially launching today, marking a major milestone for the U.S. automaker as it enters one of the Middle East's most influential markets. Now, the company is holding a showcase event in Riyadh, unveiling its current vehicle lineup alongside prototypes of its highly anticipated Cybercab and humanoid robot Optimus.
This launch also signals a dramatic thaw in relationships between Tesla CEO Elon Musk and PIF Governor Yasir Al-Rumayyan, the head of Saudi Arabia's $1 trillion public investment fund. The two were embroiled in a public feud in 2018 over Elon Musk's controversial funding-secured tweet. At that point, it was called a tweet. Now it's called an X post about taking Tesla private, an episode that saw the PIF offload its Tesla stake and instead invest heavily in rival EV maker Lucid Motors.
Now, since then, the relationship appears to have improved. Musk made a virtual appearance at Saudi's flagship investment conference last October, FII, and was later spotted with Al-Rumayyan and Donald Trump at a UFC event in New York and attended a Saudi-led summit in Miami earlier this year.
Yeah, and Saudi Arabia is positioning Tesla's arrival as a sign of growing ties with US industry leaders and possibly a nod to Trump's America First agenda. For Tesla, the kingdom offers a new market opportunity as it contends with a 13% year-on-year sales decline. Analysts estimate Tesla could deliver 30,000 vehicles annually in Saudi Arabia within a couple of years.
Now, however, competition will be very stiff here because Lucid, backed by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, already operates a final assembly plant in the kingdom. And with EVs making up just 1% of car sales in Saudi Arabia, Tesla's real challenge will be affordability, infrastructure, and extreme climate conditions. Now, I remember reading somewhere, Majid, that Saudi Arabia actually had a goal for Vision 2030, and it was, I believe, for 30%, it was about 15 to 30% of cars in the country to actually be electrical vehicles.
Nice.
And
so 1% and 15, big goal, very difficult.
It is.
The only problem with these countries that everyone has seen over the years is the extreme climate conditions. So electric batteries, a little bit of technicality is if they heat up, they blast, literally blast.
And it's very hard to cool down lithium. Lithium does not, lithium fire actually will not turn off through water.
So the idea is that how do these batteries survive? We've seen in the UAE, Teslas are taxis here. So we have seen that they have survived these extreme weathers. There's a cooling system which goes into the car which cools the battery. So there's a whole setup around it, but still people still feel like if a normal car explodes on the road because of any reason, people for some time are scared of that car. It's just a general fear sentiment. But I think Tesla will do good only because of the luxury value of it and the face value of it. Because Teslas are still in Saudi Arabia. People are driving Teslas, but they're through third-party dealerships or different dealerships. That costs you an extra 5-10% over the price. So now, since Tesla will be officially there, you can just go buy Tesla from them. So the prices will come down a little bit. Let's see what happens. The launch event is going to be a grand event. So let's be prepared for it. We'll share everything that we get on social media and here and there. We'll share that with you on our socials. So yeah, do follow us on every social channel that you're on. But let's see what happens. Let's see. We'll have to wait and see for at least 3 months how Tesla performs in Saudi Arabia. It's not going to be easy. Lucid is not doing good. That's the only positive point that I see. Lucid Motors, their CEO changed. It's a very interesting story about the Lucid Motors CEO. He is CEO. Now he resigned and now he's an advisor to one of the board of directors of Lucid. So he's still associated with Lucid. That was the funny part of the story, that he is still there.
Drama.
But now he's advisor to one of the board of directors. But Lucid, I think over last 3 or 4 years, Saudi Arabia, I remember the first funding, it was $1 billion exactly put into Lucid Motors. And then there were reports that they went back to PIF, said, you need more money, not working, and they invested nearly 1.5 billion again. So 2.5 billion dollars into a startup which is not doing good, Lucid Motors. I think Tesla coming in will help Saudi to reach that 15% target of like EVs. And Saudi, again, these oil producing nations, they have oil.
They have money.
Yeah,
They
they
have
have money
money.
and they have oil also,
And they have
which
money
is cheap.
to buy
Yeah.
those Teslas.
So let's see.
But
Hopefully.
now we're going to tell you about the UAE and its very special Crown Prince of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, and how he actually rung the opening bell at the Bombay Stock Exchange.
In a historic moment symbolizing the deepening ties between the UAE and India, Dubai Crown Prince Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, after a very long while I've said his name complete, visited the Bombay Stock Exchange on Wednesday and rang the iconic bell to commence the day's trading session.
Now, during the visit, His Highness Sheikh Hamdan met with the managing director and CEO of the BSE, and he was given an overview of the exchange's operations, which boasts over 5,600 listed companies and ranks among the largest in the world by market capitalization. Now, the BSE, founded in 1875, is located in Mumbai, India's financial capital, and plays a pivotal role in shaping the country's capital markets.
The Dubai Crown Prince highlighted the UAE's strong commitment to deepening collaboration between its financial institutions and global markets. He emphasized the shared ambition of the UAE and India to modernize capital markets using emerging technologies like AI and blockchain, and expressed hopes for enhanced cooperation between the BSE, the Bombay Stock Exchange, and Dubai Financial Market, which is DFM.
Now, this marks His Highness Sheikh Hamdan's first official visit to India as part of the two-day trip. He also attended the launch of Dubai International Chamber's new office in Bangalore and held high-level meetings with senior Indian officials. Now, in 2016, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, then the UAE Crown Prince and Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince, now the President of the UAE, conducted a similar visit to the BSE and rang the bell. Afterwards, he secured the stock exchange and posed for a photo in front of the bull.
Adding a Dubai twist to the visit, entrepreneur Siddharth Balachandran, who is the largest individual shareholder in BSE, he told Khalij Times he talked to Khalij Times and called the bell ringing ceremony a symbol of the UAE-India economic partnership. He described it as not just the end of Sheikh Hamdan's visit, but the beginning of a new era in bilateral relations. Yesterday we talked about this SEPA, nearly $85 billion of trade since 2022, May 1, when it came into effect. So his visit is very important, and it looks eerily similar. It looks like very nicely similar to actually the 2006 visit of our president. 2016, sorry.
Yes.
2016 visit of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed. So they also took a picture in front of the bull. He also took a picture in front of the bull. So it's nice. It's a nice, good visit, right?
For me, Majid, like this visit, like I just like to emphasize here that the BSE, the stock exchange that he was at, is actually recognized as one of Asia's oldest stock exchanges, and the fact that a royal, as respected and as His Highness Sheikh Hamdan has given it a visit, I think it really does go to show the level of appreciation that UAE leaders have for Indians in this country. It's such a major community in the UAE, and I see it in like
it is the majorist community.
Yeah, and I see it in like the simplest way possible, Majid. Like, for example, when it's like Diwali, I'm not even joking. Every single building, villa that I pass by, there's like lights everywhere. So I
go to these areas, Burjuman, Dera, Satwa. They're lit up. Like you're like Bar Dubai. You actually feel like you're in India with the people celebrating on the streets. It's actually, the last Diwali I remember on Love in Dubai, I had like other brand for under Augustus Media. We did a video of there was a DJ party going on the street. Like there were DJs playing, and I was like, this is cultural diversity at its best in the world. I've seen like cultural like. A lot of harmony. Actually, there's World Tolerance Today at my kids' school. They're wearing all these different clothes from their countries, I think the tolerance day is today, or maybe it was yesterday or tomorrow. I completely remember. Word will quickly Google it. But we see this culture. It's actually a culture shock for me when I came here, because I come
That
from.
there's a lot of Indians?
No. The
Oh.
culture shock is that there's so many people and there is no problem at all. Because usually in Pakistan, you go to our area, the whole Asia. In India, there's a problem with Muslims and everyone has a problem with someone. But in UAE, they live so peacefully together. It's such
Oh,
a
there's
nice.
definitely stereotypes there.
Yeah.
There's definitely stereotypes. There's definitely racism there. But
Yeah.
I think that that can exist in every single society. But I think it's the fact that the government here
Yeah.
leads very well.
Yeah.
And it governs in a way that ensures everyone's safety. I think
And
I remember-
equality as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not. I think some people will argue against it. Obviously, sometimes even one person has some argument against it. But people have been nice to each other on individual level as well. It's not just that the government enforces tolerance and equality. People actually also are better to each other in this country, because everyone, like nearly 80% expat population, everyone is away from their home. So even if they find someone doing a nice gesture, like if you bump on the road, you're saying sorry. So
Do you think it's the fact that they're away from their home? Or do
Yeah.
you think it's the way that the news here is? Because if you notice UAE news, it's like extremely positive.
And it
you don't
is.
feel like you're living under like paranoia.
yeah,
Right?
that's also
you don't feel
one
like
of the
you're
things.
living under paranoia and hysteria, unlike, a country like America where anything like slightly happens and you find out about it the next
Yeah.
day. I think it's a fact that even if there are things happening,
Yeah.
there's things happening everywhere, but I think it's the fact that we get that peace and that safety of constantly receiving positive news. And by
Yeah.
the way, it's to not be underestimated, Majid, how positivity and negativity, the kind of news that you're consuming, whether that news is from actual news stations or whether you with people, how much it can actually impact the mind and the
Yeah.
kind of state that it can make you live in. And I also wonder sometimes if the positive news that they put out here, does it impact the level of productivity that people have in the country?
I think it does, because if you're mentally relaxed, like physical and mental well-being, right? Physically, this place is good. You have gyms in a lot of buildings. There's a lot of walking involved. So you're physically, that's on you. But mentally, I think all the things that happen in your environment, they affect you some way. So if someday you wake up and there's no electricity or there's no gas or there's water problem, all these things are so well taken care of in the UAE and Saudi to an extent, to be honest, as well, Qatar as well. Recently, I read a news. It's bad, but just to refer to it, like Kuwait has planned government-backed electricity outages for 2 hours each day. They're facing some problem with their grid and some problem with oil
so the
as well.
electricity is going to go out for 2
Yeah,
hours every
it's
day.
very rare to hear about a Middle Eastern country, because all of them are oil rich, all of them are energy rich, to hear about that. But they announced that
No, this
it's
does
going
not
to be
feel rare, by the way, Majid. Like, and everyone,
electricity house. When was
maybe
the
not
last
the
time you
Gulf
saw it?
countries, maybe not the Gulf
Yeah, yeah,
countries,
outside. I'm
but,
talking
like,
about Middle East.
Lebanon, Syria,
Yeah.
Sudan.
Those
the
are
power,
war-struck countries.
Why do you say it with a
They are
smile?
war-struck.
Like the power going off is something so normal that I
Yeah.
myself have lived through.
No, but those are war-struck countries. Yemen has a war going on. Lebanon, always there is something happening. Israel tried to invade them. Then they have had that like big blast happen. Their economy is so bad. Syria, we know Bashar al-Assad, 13,
It's
14
because you
years
said
of
Middle
rule.
Eastern countries.
Yeah, but
Gulf makes sense.
Gulf countries, the bigger ones, the oil giants. But it's very rare to hear about any of the basic problems. So every day you wake up, you don't have to worry about like 10 things which you have to worry about in an underdeveloped country. You wake up, you're like,
What do you mean,
what
like,
will happen
what
to
do
the
you mean
water?
worry about 10 things though?
Water, electricity, basics in our countries, it's like, water comes for 2 hours, so you have to fill your tank. If you miss that time, the whole day there won't be
Really?
any water. So yeah, there's a lot of problems that you face in our country. Even the richest people have like motors, water pulling motors in their house. They're rich, they have a guy doing it, but it's that kind of a problem. In the UAE, in Saudi Arabia also, when I went, I saw these problems don't exist. So the productivity automatically increases because you have less things to worry about and more work to do, and you can focus better. So yeah, a lot of these things, they make UAE, they make our countries what they are. Indians' contribution is one of the biggest in this country. Pakistanis, I think every single person who comes to this country and contributes in even in the minutest way possible, they are, I think, appreciated by this country.
And that's why 7 out of 10 UAE
Yeah.
residents want to retire in the country. Now, a new survey actually found that a significant majority of UAE residents, 7 out of 10, are keen to retire in the country. Now, the data collected by YouGov and commissioned by Zurich Middle East reveals the sentiment is strongest among residents aged 50 to 65, particularly those earning more than 25,000 dirhams per month.
While 3/4 of respondents, that is 75%, feel financially confident about their future, around 65% said they plan to rely primarily on workplace savings or gratuity for retirement. But according to Ashika Taylor, this was a report on Khalid Times as well, head of business development at Zurich International Life Limited, many residents are overestimating how far their gratuity will stretch.
Now, Zurich estimates that the current annual cost of retirement in the UAE is 240,000 dirhams. Now, a figure that's expected to nearly double to 477,000 dirhams by 2045. Now, by 2060, that cost could soar to 7.2 million dirhams for just 15 years of basic retirement, underscoring the need for better financial planning.
And despite rising costs, 61% of those surveyed still believe that 5 million dirhams or less is enough for a comfortable retirement. However, Taylor warns that such an amount may not sustain a typical 20 to 30-year retirement without passive income streams or proper investment planning.
Now, ambitions remain high, with 44% of residents saying they hope to start a business in retirement, while others plan to travel or learn new skills. Now, yet 61% have not spoken to a financial advisor, and only 4% have invested in a dedicated retirement plan.
How much money do you need for your retirement?
I honestly don't know.
For
I don't
example-
know if I'm ever going to retire.
For example, let's say someday you decide to retire.
That's not happening.
Around 50, 60, and you're like, okay, I need to plan the next 10 years.
That's like
How
not
much
happening.
money?
My grandfather Majid, who I like told you came to
Yeah.
the UAE in like 1974, I don't think he retired until he was like 70.
Nice.
I think I would actually go crazy, like bonkers, if I didn't have work. If I didn't have
Yeah.
a job to do, like what are you looking forward to? What, like just sitting in
Yeah.
a swinging chair?
Or even a business, right? You need to be busy. That's like my father at this point. He's 60, he's retired. He went
Yeah.
to like northern areas, built a home.
Is he enjoying his
raising
retirement?
cows and chickens and trying to like live that farm
You know
life.
what?
Very
That
nice.
sounds peaceful.
Yeah,
It
it's very
really
peaceful.
does
He's
sound
really
peaceful.
happy. He prays 5 times a day whenever
Mashallah.
he's doing a lot of stuff. And this is not just one example of him. There's a lot of people from Pakistan and India who have their retirement plans back home. So they, during their work here, like 20, 30 years, 40 years that they spend here, they accumulate the capital and they invest in their own countries, build houses, rent houses. So finally, when they go back and retire, they can just eat the rent money, enjoy life there. So that's one of the retirement plans. But this report is, it was really interesting for me because my wife plans, and I think a lot of people who are coming now, they want to live here even when they're retired because the safety, the security. We can recount all the things that we talked about like 5 minutes ago. All those things make you stay in UAE. You don't want to leave. One of my uncles, like my wife's uncle, he just moved to Canada. He's a Canadian national. They have the passport and everything, but he still is trying to come back to UAE. He's finding business opportunities. He's trying to find something to just come back. He doesn't even like Canada, imagine. So people are die to go to
I
Canada
can
to get a
imagine.
passport.
Imagine
right?
the cold.
Not the cold, it's just the expensive nature of life there. I think 40% taxes on your income. So even if you earn 100K a year, 40,000 goes away just for schooling and medical and that. And after that, even for a flu, you get a 7-8 day later appointment. By that time, the flu goes away. That's the funny thing. So yeah, with all of that, he's lived here, he's worked here for like nearly 35, 40 years. So just giving you examples of people I know and world knows to tell you that these are the real life stories of people who actually want to stay here even after retirement. because this country provides you so many things.
I think it's different with like different nationalities. Like for example, a trend that I observed specifically in Egyptians, Majid, is you know what they basically do, and I just find it so smart, to be honest with you. They work here. A lot of them work here as like full-time employees, and they really save, and they save very well. And then they actually take that money while they're still living here, and they buy homes in Egypt. And obviously because Egypt is less expensive, they can buy homes, and until they're actually back home to Egypt, they buy the house, build the house, rent out the house, make money from it. And when they're finally like, you know what, I miss my home, they go back to their homes, and you know they live quite well, and that money that they saved up in the UAE actually lasts them for quite some time. So not only is retiring here such a great idea, but saving up here. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. They come, they save here, and then they go back to their home countries.
Exactly the same thing with Pakistanis and Indians and a lot of people. That is why there's this just one stat. It's not, I don't remember the number exactly, but the Middle Eastern countries, Saudi and UAE especially, because they are the giants, the money that people send back is way more than any other country in the world. Because a lot of people just come here so they can support families back home. So even like 1,500, 2,000 dirham jobs, the labor people, they even send 500, 600 dirhams back, and that money increases, multiplies by the exchange rate, and becomes a big amount. So they support like 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10 people back home, just one person working here. So that is why a lot of people come here. That's like I think one part of the majority who come here, make money and send it back so people there can live a proper life, get educated and all that. So it's really interesting, these dynamics. But yeah, now people, I think it's like the third or fourth generation of people living in UAE who are deciding this, that no, we're not going back,
No,
we want to stay here.
Yeah, these are definitely interesting dynamics. And if you guys want to come back for more about this, tune into the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media channels at Smashi Business, and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description.
This has been a Smashi Business Show, Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. A big shout out to our 1.5 million monthly listeners. Soon we'll hit 2 million and we'll celebrate it with you. And if you're one of the listeners, thank you so much. Distribute this to other people. Let other people enjoy the talk as well.
Have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
One day left.